Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy League of Miracles. Today we are, we're off on a very interesting week 3. A lot of things happened, and we're here to figure out whether we need to hit the panic button on some players. The first player up for discussion is Derrick Henry. How do you boys feel about Derrick Henry going forward?
Dude, listen. All I'm gonna say is, speaking from past experience, never panic on Derrick Henry. This dude is straight up made out of the lab. I mean, when you want to create a physical specimen, you create Derrick Henry. I mean, this guy is straight up playing. He's a man amongst boys out there in that backfield and on the field. I think, yeah, his snap count is a little low right now. Ty Spears is coming in there and taking a lot of carries away from him. But I actually look at that as a positive. I think that'll keep him fresh. I think that'll help him throughout the season longer. And it'll just keep him rejuvenated as the season goes on. Less likelihood of him maybe getting an injury with him creeping up there in age. But everyone's just got to pump the brakes on Derrick Henry. Still hold on. I still have a lot of faith in what he can do.
So two of the boys believe in Derrick Henry. I gotta say, I am out on Derrick Henry. I think it comes down to snap share. Derrick Henry had 38% snap share last week. That's concerning. Where he got outbeat by Taiji, who had 56%. I'm not sure why they're not working in Derrick Henry, but with behind the worst offensive line, I'd be concerned. But moving on, how do you guys feel about Najee Harris?
I
Bomb.
think,
Straight
you know,
trash. Go ahead, promote. But yeah, those are my initial thoughts. Go ahead, promote.
so Najee Harris is an interesting, because last year there was a lot of hype coming from him and he just did not produce. And this year, he definitely had some flashes in this first 3 weeks, but seeing a young Jalen Warren, I mean, I know Najee's young too, but if you look at Jalen Warren, who's been getting a lot of touches and just seeing his explosiveness, I think that value for Najee definitely goes down. And given that, we know the situation with running backs and we know how that story goes. I would be a little bit concerned if I'm a Najee owner just because Jalen Warren's been looking impressive. So I would want to I would say it's time to hit the panic button on Najee.
Yeah, anyway, I mean, I'm not just saying this because I have Jalen Warren on my fantasy team, but Jalen Warren is looking good. Jalen Warren is looking good. Najee's slow, and I just when I've watched him, I just don't see him producing. I don't know. So, I mean, last year he was a bust. Like he's starting off the same way this year. What can we see now? I mean, I don't know. I'm out on him. I've been out since last year.
Yeah, man. Najee is tough. I mean, you ever try to run through a pool of molasses? That's kind of how I look at Najee. And when I watch this guy play, I just feel like he is working an extra slow-mo out there. Like I like you said, Art too. I've been out on Najee for a while, and it's tough because I think he's a good guy. I like the way he
Yeah.
plays. I like his personality a lot.
Yeah.
Being an Alabama product too,
Yeah,
I think
he was great in Bama.
he hit the ground running. I want to root for him, but facts are the facts. If it walks like a chicken, it talks like a chicken. It's a chicken, and I think it's time to panic button on Najee for sure.
Moving on, how do you guys feel about Garrett Wilson? I know that one manager here traded Garrett Wilson to the other manager.
I'll take the lead on this one because this is a new welcomer to the team. Got to introduce once again Garrett Wilson to Team FanDuel. Hopefully he does well. I'm pretty high on Garrett Wilson. I know there's a lot of talk right now with the quarterback situation and the offensive line and what's going to happen. There's a lot of turmoil with the running backs tweeting out and Sauce Gardner getting upset. And there's just a lot of stuff coming out. Joe Namath really came out, I think, the other day and was blasting Zach Wilson as well and the coaching staff. So a lot of turmoil. But in terms of Garrett Wilson, man, I'm really high on Garrett Wilson still. I think a talent like that, you find in the ball regardless of how it is. I mean, you see these teams doing it all the time with their top level wide receivers, regardless of who's throwing them the ball. They will find that receiver the ball, whether it's Puka, who came out of nowhere. He's getting fed targets, whether it's someone like Justin Jefferson. I mean, if you're a good player like Garrett Wilson, a top level wide receiver, they will find you the ball. In PPR leagues, I still think that means a lot. So I don't think it's time to panic just yet. Wait to see what the quarterback situation is as well. I know the Jets added Trevor Siemian, so that could be a potential upside, but not yet. Still holding off for a little longer.
Yeah, I mean, it did hurt to trade him away because, like you guys been saying, the talent is there. In my eyes, it's just that second round capital is not there anymore from where I got him at. I got him at this in the second round, thinking he could be like, a top 3 dude in the league with A-Rod in the back. But now that's gone, and he probably has one of the worst quarterbacks right now. I needed wins now. I need to trade him away. It's tough to say if it's time to panic, but I don't like where it's going if they don't figure out their room. Yeah, he can get fed the targets. It's just the Jets could still be the Jets at the end of the day.
All right, moving on. We have Justin Fields. How do you guys feel about him? He has absolutely been awful this season.
My guy from last year, man.
It's I guess I can start off on that. I mean, it's what's crazy is I had a conversation with manager McDougal's before the season started about Justin Fields, and I remember he mentioned like, beware of him, he will completely drop off, and and I was like, like I think he has a chance, but just seeing him, just the entire Bears offense looks so discombobulated. They don't seem to know what they're doing out there. Um, you know, just not being able to connect with his receivers and not really seeing much in the run game. I mean, you just don't see that, the end of the season hype that you had with him last year. You don't see that translating into this year after a full off season. I know Justin Fields isn't too happy with the coaching situation. A lot of stuff going on in Chicago. I know they had a rough week last week as well with the robbery and things like that. I think just all of that combined is just not a good, mental space for Justin Fields. I just think that definitely panicked to the power of like 8 with Justin Fields. Definitely.
I agree. I think it is time to hit the panic button. I think, to be honest, I'm giving him like a week or two if I have him on my roster and dropping him if he doesn't pass more than 100 yards. My fantasy quarterback needs to pass more than 100 yards. That's like the bare minimum I'm expecting. I can't believe he didn't pass. He passed for like 90 yards last game. Moving on to our last player, Kyle Pitts. He's sort of an enigma in the NFL as a fantasy prospect, and a lot of people, love to draft him early, and sometimes they get a bit. How do you guys feel about him?
Panic. For sure, panic, dude. I mean, like what really irks me, like I just said, I don't like to panic about players too early in the season, especially someone like someone with good personalities, someone maybe if they've had a consistent track record. But man, this dude Kyle Pitts, every single year, always projected so high for the past 2-3 seasons, doesn't do anything. And what irks me is I feel like this guy doesn't even have the gall to care, man. Like when I watch some of these players on the sidelines, Stephon Diggs, AJ Brown, like, dude, like they wanna they want to be active and integral members of their offensive units. But this guy Kyle Pitts doesn't even seem to care. I mean, he's out here on TikTok, he's out here on like other platforms. I see him making videos with his like wife about their kids and other stuff for a potential child on the way. I mean, like, congratulations to you. That's all good and all. But man, like, do your job, bro. Like, it's beyond.
No, man, I think I share that same level of frustration. I know his rookie year, he had a great season, at least for a rookie tight end, and the sky was the limit for him last year. And he's putting up the same numbers as last year as this year. And it's frustrating to see because he's young, he's versatile. We know he can make plays, and he's just not doing it. And if you look at Bijan Robinson, I mean, he has definitely so far met, if not exceeded, all expectations in that run-heavy offense. And I like to and I would like to see that continue, and I'd like to think that would continue. So yeah, Kyle Pitts. I mean, even look at. I mean, I know this is diverting a little bit, but Drake London, same situation too. If you want to bring him into this, but Kyle Pitts, yeah, panic button. I'm so done with that, man.
Yeah, I think it's been a panic, but I will say this: if he's on the waivers, I might just take him though, because the tight ends look horrible this year. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, Kyle Pitts could get you that potential touchdown
Listen,
rather
that's
than like, you know,
That's-
freaking Dalton Kincaid bench I have. But yeah, I think it's the where you wanted to draft Kyle Pitts at, that's definitely a panic.
sorry, sorry to extend this circle, but real quick, I just have to add one more thing because like that's the biggest thing. Like Art just said, dude, it's the disappointment. Like it's not that he's not a serviceable tight end. If he's a waiver wire pickup, by all means, fantastic. But dude, just the expectations that most fantasy managers carry for this man and where he's delivered so far in between, where it's just upsetting. It's upsetting.
I agree. You got to lower your expectations for Kyle Pitts. However, I think, it's not his fault. I think it's more the quarterback play there. Desmond Ridder, I think is a problem. He's not the best passer. I think it's the coaching that's the problem. They don't like to pass the ball. So I think it's a lot of other factors. In fact, I think if Taylor Heineke, their backup quarterback, came in, I think it would help Kyle Pitts out.
Mhm.
I don't know if there's a world for that. There could be, but yeah, it's definitely time to panic on Kyle Pitts, but you're used to it since last season. So I think that's gonna wrap it up for us on this episode. And I wanted to thank everyone for watching, and please hit the subscribe button down below.
Thank you.